There comes a moment in every person's life when they must answer a single question that silently shapes everything they will become. It is not a question that anyone else asks you. It is not written on an exam, spoken by a teacher, or demanded by society. It is a question your own mind whispers every day, often so quietly that you barely notice it. Will you choose what feels good now, or what will make you stronger later? Most people never realize that this question decides the direction of their lives. They believe success belongs to the talented, the lucky, or the gifted. They admire people with extraordinary achievements while overlooking the invisible habit that created them. They see the destination but ignore the countless moments of quiet discipline that made it possible. The truth is that your future is rarely decided by one dramatic event. It is shaped by thousands of ordinary moments when no one is watching. Every temptation you resist, every distraction you ignore, every promise you keep to yourself. These are the moments that slowly build an unshakable foundation. The world around you is designed to reward impatience. It teaches you to expect everything immediately. Instant entertainment, instant pleasure, instant approval, instant success. You have become surrounded by endless opportunities to escape discomfort. And because of that, many people have forgotten something priceless. Growth has never been instant. A tree does not become mighty overnight. A mountain is not formed in a day. Even the strongest river carves through stone only because it refuses to stop flowing. Nature itself reminds us that everything valuable requires time, patience, and unwavering consistency. Yet the human mind often fights against this truth. It seeks comfort before growth. It wants the reward without the effort. It wants confidence without facing fear. It wants peace without mastering the restless mind. But life has its own laws. And one of those laws is simple. What is earned lasts longer than what is given. Delayed gratification is not about denying yourself happiness. It is about choosing a greater happiness over a smaller one. It is the quiet strength to sacrifice today's comfort for tomorrow's freedom. It is the wisdom to understand that every meaningful achievement asks for patience before it offers reward. The strongest people are not those who never feel temptation. They are the ones who acknowledge it, understand it, and still choose the higher path. Their discipline is not loud. It does not seek applause. It is silent, consistent, and deeply rooted in purpose. Imagine becoming someone who no longer depends on moods to take action. Imagine waking each day, knowing that your decisions are guided by values instead of impulses. Imagine reaching a point where distractions lose their power because your vision has become stronger than your desires. This is not a fantasy reserved for extraordinary people. It is a possibility available to anyone willing to practice discipline one choice at a time. Remember this carefully. Every time you delay a small pleasure for a greater purpose, you are not losing something. You are investing in someone. That someone is the future version of yourself. A person who is calmer, wiser, stronger, and freer than the person you are today. The greatest victories are often invisible at first. They begin inside the mind, long before the world notices them. Before success becomes visible, discipline must become invisible. Before others admire your achievements, you must first master your private battles. Today is not about becoming perfect. It is about becoming intentional. It is about reclaiming control from the impulses that have quietly directed your life for too long. It is about realizing that your destiny is not determined by talent, circumstances, or luck, but by the choices you repeatedly make when comfort and purpose stand before you, because the life you truly desire is not waiting on the other side of motivation. It is waiting on the other side of discipline. Most people do not fail because they lack intelligence, talent, or opportunity. They remain stuck because they become prisoners of immediate pleasure. The human mind naturally seeks comfort, avoids pain, and looks for the quickest reward available. This instinct once helped our ancestors survive, but in today's world, it often becomes the greatest obstacle to personal growth. Every notification, every unnecessary purchase, every distraction, and every excuse offers a small reward that feels satisfying in the moment. The problem is not that these pleasures exist. The problem is that when they become habits, they slowly reshape the mind into expecting instant results from everything. When a person becomes addicted to immediate gratification, patience begins to disappear. Waiting feels unbearable. Hard work seems unfair. Progress appears too slow. Instead of trusting the process, they constantly search for shortcuts that promise quick success without lasting effort. They start many things but finish very few. They chase motivation instead of building discipline. They become excited by beginnings, but discouraged by the ordinary work that follows. Over time, this pattern creates frustration because life rarely rewards those who expect everything to happen immediately. Look closely at the strongest individuals in any field. Whether they are athletes, artists, entrepreneurs, monks, musicians, or leaders, their success was never built on chasing instant satisfaction. Behind every remarkable achievement were countless moments when they chose practice instead of comfort, learning instead of entertainment, and long-term purpose instead of temporary pleasure. What separates them from everyone else is not extraordinary ability, but extraordinary consistency. They understood that meaningful results are delayed, and they made peace with that reality. The modern world constantly whispers that happiness can be purchased instantly. It encourages people to consume more, react faster, compare themselves endlessly, and expect rapid transformation. Social media shows finished results while hiding years of invisible effort. People see the successful business, but not the sleepless nights. They admire the healthy body, but ignore the disciplined meals and relentless training. They envy financial freedom while overlooking years of sacrifice and careful decisions. This distorted view convinces many that they are falling behind, simply because they cannot achieve overnight what others spent years building. Every time you choose immediate comfort over meaningful progress, you strengthen a habit that becomes more difficult to break tomorrow. The mind remembers repeated behavior. If you repeatedly avoid difficult conversations, difficult work, or difficult responsibilities, your brain begins to associate discomfort with danger. Eventually, even small challenges feel overwhelming because you have trained yourself to escape rather than endure. The opposite is equally true. Every time you resist an unnecessary impulse, complete a difficult task, or remain focused despite temptation, you strengthen the mental pathways of discipline. Many people believe they need stronger willpower before they can change their lives. In reality, willpower grows through repeated use. It develops the same way muscles grow in the body. Resistance creates a strength. Every moment of self-control is a repetition that makes the next decision slightly easier. This is why discipline is not built during extraordinary moments, but during ordinary ones. It is created when no one is watching, when there is no applause, and when quitting would be easy. The greatest danger of instant gratification is that it creates the illusion of progress without producing real transformation. Watching motivational videos feels productive, but it cannot replace action. Planning endlessly feels responsible, but it cannot replace execution. Talking about goals feels inspiring, but it cannot replace daily effort. The mind often mistakes emotional excitement for actual achievement, leaving people satisfied with intentions instead of results. Life quietly rewards those who can tolerate temporary discomfort without abandoning their purpose. Every meaningful dream demands patience before it offers fulfillment. Every worthwhile skill requires repetition before mastery. Every lasting relationship requires understanding before trust. Every successful journey asks for persistence before reward. Those who become trapped by instant gratification rarely discover what they are truly capable of because they stop walking long before the destination begins to appear. Is the ability to delay gratification is one of the quietest forms of strength a person can possess. It does not attract attention, demand recognition, or seek applause. It is an invisible force that shapes character from within, transforming ordinary individuals into people of remarkable resilience and purpose. While many chase immediate pleasure, those who master delayed gratification understand that every worthwhile achievement asks for patience before it offers reward. They are willing to exchange a moment of comfort for a lifetime of fulfillment because they see beyond the present moment. Delayed gratification begins with a simple realization. Every decision has a future consequence. The choices you make today are not isolated events. They are seeds that eventually become the reality you live tomorrow. A single healthy meal may seem insignificant, but repeated consistently, it creates a healthier body. Reading a few pages each day may not feel life-changing, but over the years it develops wisdom that cannot be purchased. Saving a small amount of money regularly may require sacrifice now, yet it creates financial freedom later. The greatest rewards in life rarely arrive immediately because they are built through countless small decisions made with intention. Patience is often misunderstood as passive waiting, but true patience is active commitment. It is continuing to move forward even when results remain invisible. Imagine a farmer planting seeds beneath the soil. For days or even weeks, nothing appears to happen. The ground looks exactly the same, yet beneath the surface, life is quietly developing. The farmer does not dig up the seed every morning to check its progress. He trusts the process because he understands that growth happens long before it becomes visible. Your personal growth follows the same principle. The discipline you practice today may not produce immediate rewards, but it is preparing a future that cannot yet be seen. One of the greatest strengths developed through delayed gratification is emotional resilience. People who constantly seek instant pleasure become emotionally dependent on circumstances. If something feels difficult, they stop. If progress slows, they lose motivation. If discomfort appears, they retreat. Their emotions control their actions. Those who practice delayed gratification gradually reverse this pattern. They learn that uncomfortable emotions are temporary, while meaningful rewards are lasting. Instead of reacting to every feeling, they observe it, accept it, and continue moving toward their purpose. This ability creates inner stability that remains strong even during uncertainty. Confidence also grows through delayed gratification, though not in the way many expect. Real confidence is not created by praise or external validation. It is built every time you keep a promise to yourself. When you commit to waking up early and follow through, confidence increases. When you resist distractions and complete meaningful work, confidence deepens. When you choose discipline despite temptation, your mind begins to trust your own decisions. Over time, this self-trust becomes more valuable than the approval of others because it cannot be taken away by criticism or failure. Delayed gratification also sharpens wisdom. It teaches you to evaluate decisions based on long-term consequences rather than short-term emotions. Instead of asking, "What do I feel like doing right now?" you begin asking, "What choice will my future self be grateful for?" This single shift changes everything. It transforms spending into investing, reacting into reflecting, complaining into improving, and wishing into acting. The mind becomes less impulsive and more intentional, allowing every decision to align with deeper values instead of temporary desires. Many people fear sacrifice because they focus only on what they are giving up. Those who understand delayed gratification see something different. They recognize that every meaningful no is actually protecting a greater yes. Saying no to laziness means saying yes to strength. Saying no to distraction means saying yes to mastery. Saying no to unnecessary comfort means saying yes to freedom. Every disciplined choice is an investment in the person you are becoming. The hidden beauty of delayed gratification is that its rewards extend far beyond external success. It shapes your identity. It teaches you that you are capable of mastering your impulses instead of being mastered by them. It reminds you that true freedom is not the ability to satisfy every desire, but the ability to choose which desires deserve your attention. As this understanding deepens, discipline no longer feels like restriction. It becomes a source of peace, clarity, and quiet confidence that allows you to walk through life with unwavering purpose, knowing that every patient choice is slowly building a future far greater than any temporary pleasure could ever provide. Many people believe that discipline is created during life-changing moments, but this is one of the greatest misunderstandings about personal growth. They imagine that one powerful decision, one inspiring speech, or one burst of motivation will permanently transform their lives. In reality, discipline is rarely born from extraordinary events. It is built quietly through small daily decisions that most people overlook. The person you become is not determined by what you do once in a while, but by what you repeatedly choose every single day. Every morning begins with countless opportunities to strengthen or weaken your character. The decision to wake up when the alarm rings instead of pressing the snooze button may seem insignificant, yet it sends a powerful message to your mind. It teaches you whether your promises are stronger than your comfort. Choosing to exercise when you do not feel like it, finishing an important task before seeking entertainment, or remaining focused when distractions appear are all small victories that shape your identity. None of these actions seem remarkable on their own, but together they create a person who can be trusted by others, and, more importantly, trusted by themselves. The mind is always learning from repetition. Every action you repeat becomes easier because your brain strengthens the pathways connected to that behavior. This is why habits become automatic over time. If you repeatedly choose distraction, your mind becomes skilled at avoiding responsibility. If you repeatedly choose discipline, your mind becomes comfortable with effort. You are constantly training yourself, whether you realize it or not. The question is not whether you are building habits, but whether those habits are building the future you truly desire. Small decisions often appear powerless because their results are invisible in the beginning. Reading 10 pages today will not make you an expert by tomorrow. Saving a little money this week will not make you wealthy overnight. Practicing a skill for 30 minutes may not immediately reveal dramatic improvement. Because the progress is slow, many people underestimate its value and abandon the process. They forget that remarkable achievements are almost always the result of ordinary actions repeated with extraordinary consistency. Imagine two people standing at the beginning of a long journey. One chooses to improve by just 1% every day. The other waits for the perfect opportunity, the perfect mood, or the perfect moment to make a dramatic change. Months later, the first person has developed stronger habits, deeper knowledge, greater confidence, and lasting discipline. The second person is still waiting for motivation to arrive. The difference between them was never talent. It was the willingness to honor small decisions every day. Discipline also grows when you stop negotiating with yourself. Every time you make a commitment and immediately search for excuses, you weaken your self-respect. The mind begins to believe that your words have little value. But when you consistently follow through, even when it feels inconvenient, you build an inner reputation that cannot be purchased. You become someone who acts because it is the right thing to do, not because the circumstances are ideal. This quiet reliability becomes one of the greatest sources of personal strength. There will always be days when enthusiasm disappears. Your energy will fluctuate. Your emotions will change. Life will present unexpected challenges. If your progress depends entirely on motivation, your growth will always be inconsistent. Discipline exists for the moments when motivation is absent. It carries you forward when feelings cannot be trusted. It reminds you that your purpose is greater than your temporary emotions, and that your future deserves more than your present comfort. Every disciplined choice, no matter how small, is like placing another stone in the foundation of a great building. A single stone may seem unimportant, but without it the structure becomes weaker. Over time, these daily choices create a life of stability, resilience, and quiet confidence. They shape the way you think, the way you respond to challenges, and the way you view yourself. Eventually, discipline stops feeling like something you force yourself to do. It becomes part of who you are, because your identity has been formed through countless moments of intentional action. This is why lasting transformation never begins with giant leaps. It begins with the next decision, the next action, the next promise you choose to keep. Every small victory teaches your mind that you are capable of choosing purpose over impulse, consistency over convenience, and long-term growth over temporary comfort, until the discipline you once struggled to practice becomes the natural rhythm that guides every area of your life and quietly shapes a future far beyond what you once believed was possible. Every meaningful transformation begins with a willingness to face discomfort. This is a truth that many people spend years trying to avoid. The mind naturally seeks comfort because comfort feels safe, familiar, and effortless. Pain, on the other hand, appears as something to escape. Yet one of life's greatest paradoxes is that the discomfort you willingly embrace today often becomes the source of your greatest freedom tomorrow, while the comfort you constantly chase can quietly become the source of your deepest regrets. Understanding this difference changes the way you approach every challenge in life. Pain itself is not your enemy. In many cases, it is your greatest teacher. The discomfort of waking up early teaches discipline. The pain of consistent exercise builds strength. The challenge of studying develops knowledge. The courage to face difficult conversations strengthens relationships. Every worthwhile achievement demands that you temporarily step outside the comfort of what is easy. Those who learn to see discomfort as a path instead of a punishment discover opportunities where others only see obstacles. Many people spend their lives avoiding temporary pain, only to encounter a much greater suffering later. They avoid learning new skills because it feels difficult. then struggle with limited opportunities. They avoid saving money because spending brings immediate pleasure, then experience financial stress in the future. They avoid honest conversations because conflict feels uncomfortable, then watch important relationships slowly deteriorate. They avoid taking responsibility because excuses feel easier, then wonder why their lives remain unchanged. The pain they escaped never disappeared. It simply returned later in a more difficult form. Temporary discomfort always carries the possibility of growth. Temporary pleasure often carries the risk of stagnation. Consider the difference between planting seeds and eating them. Eating the seeds satisfies immediate hunger, but planting them creates a harvest that can feed you for years. Life presents this same decision every single day. You can consume everything your present self desires, or you can invest some of your comfort into building a future that is richer, stronger, and more meaningful. Those who consistently choose investment over consumption gradually transform not only their circumstances, but also their character. Purpose gives meaning to pain. Without purpose, discomfort feels unbearable. With purpose, even the hardest challenges become worthwhile. A mountain climber willingly accepts exhaustion because the summit matters more than the struggle. An athlete embraces demanding training because the goal is greater than temporary fatigue. A musician repeats the same notes thousands of times because mastery cannot be rushed. In each case, the pain has not disappeared. It has simply been transformed into something valuable because it serves a higher purpose. Your mindset determines whether discomfort becomes a burden or an opportunity. If every challenge is viewed as evidence that life is unfair, discouragement quickly follows. If every challenge is seen as an invitation to become stronger, resilience begins to grow. The circumstances remain the same, but your response changes completely. This shift is what separates people who constantly complain from those who quietly improve. One focuses on the difficulty of the path, while the other focuses on the person they are becoming by walking it. There is also a quiet dignity in enduring hardship without allowing it to harden your heart. Discipline is not about forcing yourself through life with bitterness. It is about accepting that meaningful growth requires effort while maintaining peace within yourself. Every obstacle becomes a chance to practice patience. Every setback becomes an opportunity to develop wisdom. Every failure becomes a lesson that prepares you for future success. The discomfort itself begins to lose its power because you understand that it is shaping something greater than temporary emotions. The strongest people are not those who have lived without pain. They are the ones who refuse to let pain define them. They learn to transform disappointment into determination, fear into courage, and struggle into purpose. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" they began asking, "What is this teaching me?" That single question changes everything because it shifts your attention from self-pity to self-development. Every difficult choice you make today is an investment in a future where you are no longer controlled by fear, laziness, or instant gratification. Every moment of discipline strengthens your ability to remain steady when life becomes uncertain. Every sacrifice made with purpose brings you closer to becoming the person you were always capable of becoming, until the very struggles you once feared become the foundation upon which your confidence, wisdom, resilience, and lasting inner freedom are built through choices that value enduring purpose over fleeting comfort and temporary pleasure. The greatest battle you will ever fight is not against other people, difficult circumstances, or the obstacles that stand in your way. It is the battle within yourself. Every day, your desires compete with your values, your impulses compete with your purpose, and your emotions compete with your wisdom. The direction of your life depends on which voice you choose to follow. Those who master this inner conflict discover a level of freedom that no external success can ever provide. They become people who control their desires instead of allowing their desires to control them. Desires are not inherently harmful. They are a natural part of being human. The desire to rest, to enjoy life, to seek comfort, and to experience pleasure all have their place. The problem begins when desires become the leaders of your life, rather than your servants. When every impulse is immediately obeyed, discipline weakens, purpose becomes unclear, and long-term goals slowly disappear beneath short-term satisfaction. A person who cannot say no to their own impulses eventually becomes a prisoner of them. Even while believing they are free, true freedom is often misunderstood. Many believe freedom means doing whatever they want whenever they want. But if your emotions decide your actions, if your cravings determine your choices, or if your habits control your direction, are you truly free? Real freedom is the ability to choose wisely, even when your feelings urge you to do otherwise. It is the strength to remain calm when anger invites reaction. It is the courage to continue working when laziness whispers excuses. It is the wisdom to stay committed when distractions promise easier rewards. Your mind becomes stronger every time you pause before acting on an impulse. That brief moment between desire and decision is where transformation begins. Most people react automatically. They speak without thinking, spend without planning, complain without reflecting, and quit without persevering. Their lives become a series of emotional reactions rather than intentional decisions. Those who develop self-mastery learn to create space between feeling and action. In that space, they regain control over their future. Every desire asks for your attention, but not every desire deserves your obedience. The disciplined person learns to examine each impulse instead of immediately following it. They ask themselves whether this choice serves their future or merely satisfies the present moment. This habit of reflection gradually changes the quality of every decision. Instead of living according to temporary emotions, they begin living according to enduring principles. Their actions become guided by purpose rather than pressure, by values rather than convenience. Self-control is not about constant restriction or denying yourself every pleasure. It is about placing the right things in the highest position. When your purpose becomes stronger than your cravings, discipline no longer feels like punishment. It becomes protection. It protects your dreams from distraction. It protects your peace from unnecessary conflict. It protects your health from harmful habits. It protects your future from careless decisions. Every act of self-control is an act of self-respect because it honors the person you are becoming instead of the impulse you are experiencing. There will always be moments when temptation feels stronger than determination. In those moments, remember that no desire lasts forever. Every craving rises, reaches its peak, and eventually fades. If you can remain patient instead of reacting immediately, you discover something remarkable. You are stronger than the feeling itself. The impulse loses its power the moment you realize it does not have the authority to command your actions. This understanding builds confidence because you begin to trust your ability to choose wisely under pressure. Mastering your desires also changes the way you experience success. Instead of depending on external achievements for happiness, you begin to find satisfaction in becoming a better person. The process itself becomes rewarding. Every disciplined decision reminds you that your character is growing. Every temptation resisted strengthens your identity. Every promise kept to yourself deepens your self-respect. These victories may be invisible to others, but they create an inner strength that no failure, criticism, or hardship can easily destroy. The person who learns to govern their own mind possesses a power greater than wealth, status, or recognition. External circumstances may change, opportunities may come and go, and challenges may appear without warning. But inner mastery remains steady because it is built upon conscious choices made every day. As you continue choosing purpose over impulse, wisdom over emotion, and discipline over temporary pleasure, you gradually become someone whose peace cannot be shaken, whose focus cannot be stolen, and whose future is shaped not by passing desires, but by unwavering intention, quiet resilience, and the enduring strength of a disciplined mind.